Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining the Garrison Institute's virtual sanctuary through this live interactive webinar. Our guest today is Locke Kelly. Locke Kelly, Master of Divinity, LCSW, is author of the award-winning book, The Way of Effortless Mindfulness. He is a licensed psychotherapist and recognized leader in the field of meditation and awakening. He's the founder of the nonprofit Open Hearted Awareness Institute and has worked in community mental health, established homeless shelters, and counseled family members of 9/11, and is currently working with the first responders to this pandemic. Locke graduated from Columbia University and received a fellowship to study in Sri Lanka and Nepal, where he studied with Tulku Urgyen Rinpoche. Locke collaborates with neuroscientists at Yale, UPenn, and NYU in the study of how awareness training can enhance compassion and well-being. You can visit, for more information, please visit www.effortlessmindfulness.org to learn more about Locke's work. Before we begin today's session, I'll go over a few items about our call. We're on a Zoom webinar, so participant audio and video are off. You'll only see Locke and for the time being myself. We are recording this, and for anyone unable to attend live, you will have a chance to view recordings as well as a schedule of upcoming sessions at garrisoninstitute.org. We're really glad to be able to offer these sessions during this time of heightened uncertainty. So we're offering these for free. We would appreciate any donations you're able to give to support us and help us to be able to provide these opportunities for everyone to be able to connect to our wonderful teachers like Locke Kelly during these challenging times. So if you're able to donate, you can do so at garrisoninstitute.org. Thank you. Finally, we'll have time for Q&A during the end of the call. So you can post your questions in the Q&A panel, which is accessible with the button at the bottom of the screen by hovering your arrow over the button. We'll get to as many questions as we can. So we're on for an hour today. Please forgive us if we're not able to get to your questions. We're really grateful for this time, and thank you so much, Locke, for being with us today. And I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's great to be here with everyone at this challenging time. And yeah, why don't we just begin just by taking a little deeper breath. And as you breathe out, just settle in. Yeah, and feel the time that you're giving yourself to be in this virtual sanctuary, in this retreat at home. And just whatever you need and want to do to kind of feel like you're here and now. And just welcoming every feeling and thought and opening to the resources of the support of Garrison Institute, and to all the participants who are here with us. So we're all together, and we're going to get through this all together. So just connecting to that community, that Sangha support, and to this support of this Garrison Institute, which has been a wonderful place for me to teach, and I'm looking forward to returning and hoping to see many of you there. So today what we're going to do is we're going to explore some tools of support from a certain type of effortless mindfulness, a type of mindfulness that is unique and can be very useful at this time. As Amy mentioned, I've been working with some first responders, and what I'm going to share with you today are the ones that seem to be the most helpful. So in many ways, we're all in this together. There are many feelings and emotions. There are changes in our life. And there's also this possibility for meditating for relief, but also shifting into our awake consciousness. So the premise of effortless mindfulness is not that you make no effort. The opposite would be effortful mindlessness. Yeah? Anybody try that before? So that's often what we're trying sometimes to do. But the effortless mindfulness, the premise is there's an awareness that's already here, that's effortlessly awake and interconnected with everything and everybody. That is the primary dimension of what's called awakening, true nature, heart, mind. And it's accessible immediately and essentially. And so we're going to play with some small glimpses of this, some ways of shifting, some ways of surrendering, letting go, opening, dropping. And the amazing thing is that the essential teachings of this effortless mindfulness, which I discovered when I was in India and Nepal and Sri Lanka, is that it connects the Vipassana tradition, insight meditation, to the Mahayana, to the Tibetan. So this kind of Sutra Mahamudra style. And then it seems to be also the center of some new neuroscience research and some psychological healing, which I'll mention a little bit. So altogether, and then it leads to contemplation and action, to social justice. And this is much of what most of us are about, Garrison's about, I'm about. So let's begin to explore a little bit. So the premise is that we've created a small separate sense of self. And that separate sense of self has multiple parts within us, the scared part, the anxious part, and then a protective part or a managing part or an ego identity, whatever you want to call that small separate sense of self that seems to be thought looping on itself. And that small self is trying to calm us. And then the earlier childlike parts or skandhas or kleshas are collapsing us into a contracted state. And they feel safe by contracting and getting small. And it creates kind of a cloud. And then what we do is we try to clean up the cloud or calm the cloud or step up above and mindfully witness the cloud from the top of the cloud. And what we're going to do today is see whether we can drop below the cloud, open up beyond the cloud, and recognize that we're also the sky. And then as that spacious awake awareness, it's none other than within the cloud and actually what the cloud of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations are made of. Yeah, so that's the simple premise or hypothesis. And then what we'll do is do some experiments and you can report the results. So the first simple little inquiry or shift is to shift out of what we think is this center of me, this ego identity that can relax. When it relaxes, we can immediately discover an awareness that's inclusive, connected, loving, and free and is not detached. So this inquiry I'm going to ask you to consider is, what's here now when there's no problem to solve? So just to let that managing part of you know, that small self, that it's not about denying problems, especially at this time. It's not about as if there's no problems or we're going into a spiritual bypass. The question is going to allow that small separate self to let go of its dominance and its creation of this thinking it's us. Yeah, the word dukkha for suffering is often translated perpetual dissatisfaction. So when we're identified and trying to solve the problem of identity, we're perpetually dissatisfied. And what if we could just relax and just feel what's here for a moment? And then notice that this awake consciousness may be here. So we'll see. That's the hypothesis. And here's the experiment. So when you ask yourself this question and inquire, just let your awareness let go of the problem solver and feel back and down into an awareness-based embodied nowness. So here you go. The invitation is to simply inquire. What's here now? Just now, when there's no problem to solve. Just stepping out of the cloud, letting awareness rest as an already awake, effortless awareness that welcomes and includes everything. What do you notice? Who's here? What's aware? What are the sense of contraction that is relaxed? And then what are the natural qualities that arise from this new view and this new you? So just be interested in what's aware, staying open, and then feel what you're aware of. Sensations in your body, feelings, thoughts, without contracting or identifying. Thoughts, chatter, aware of content. And then just a little more interested in the context, in the awareness. That's more primary. It's not spaced out, but is embracing, spacious, pervasive, not going to thought to know, not going to sleep to rest, not going to daydream, to leave here now. So just feel all is welcome, but just a little bigger, a little more spacious, a little subtler than anything that contracts or moves, or, and yet welcoming. What's that feel like when you're feeling the effortless mindful awareness and from it. See how you feel toward the parts of you, toward your body, from within and from all around. It's that little shift from identification to being one-pointed, to being aware of the contents, thoughts, feelings, sensations, the four foundations of mindfulness, to the context, to the awareness itself. And as soon as you let this awareness mingle with itself, then you're naturally aware from that awareness, which has a embracing or welcoming or loving quality. So that's the simple inquiry that you can play with and see what it's like. It's this principle of being in the cloud and contracting to be safe and splitting off into an anxious part and a managing, protective, defending part. And even splitting off into a mindful witness that's aware of the ego center and aware of the one that wants to be happy and control and safe. And then opening even beyond the meditator, just for a few seconds. So you find that which is already inherent within, that's aware of the meditator, it's aware of the small self, and it's aware of the anxious, fearful parts of us. So this dance that we're just kind of playing with, that we can do in a slower way, taking it step by step. So that's a first little glimpse into glimpsing. And the next one I want to share is called dropping from head to heart mind. So one of the first neuroscientists to go to study meditation, Herbert Benson, went from Harvard to Tibet and studied in a monastery, monks that were there on a 3-year retreat, near the end of a 3-year retreat. He brought these big suitcases of measuring equipment, and then the monks all lined up very happy and willing to do it. And then he said, okay, here's what we're going to do. And he took one of those like bathing caps with those nodules on them. He said, we're going to put this on you like this. We're going to measure your meditation. And all the monks started laughing. They're like, and then the head monk was like, come on now, don't laugh. This is our guest. And they said, yes, okay. So we're going to take this and we're going to measure your meditation. And they were like laughing. They couldn't help themselves, giggling, elbowing each other. And so he said, well, what's so funny? He said, one of the young monks said, well, why would you measure here since the experience is here and particularly here? So when we go to this more direct, advanced, from deliberate mindfulness to effortless mindfulness, we discover this more spacious and pervasive, and we drop from head to heart mind, bodhicitta, yeah? So what we're going to do is we're going to intentionally have awareness which is identified with thought that creates this feeling of a thinker. I think, therefore I am, which is what we've been caught in, and literally see whether awareness can step back or detach or disidentify, and then decenter to be aware of your jaw and smile from within. And then the center of knowing and known will drop to be aware of your throat. The center will drop behind and below your emotional heart into this heart space or this heart mind, so that you're aware of it and you're aware from it. So here's the unique premise again of effortless mindfulness is that you can't do it. So I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, the awake, already awake you. I'm talking to the awareness itself. So the will can't do it, the efforter can't do it, the meditator can't do it. But awareness can move itself and become the new place of knowing, the new space of knowing, the new location of knowing. And then it opens, and then thinking becomes one of the six senses. In Buddhism, thinking is considered a sixth sense, not any more than I hear, therefore I am. But all senses go to this nature of mind, this awareness-based and open-hearted heart mind. Yeah. So you may or may not have done this before, and the one who's about to try to do it can't do it, so we'll just give it a try and see what happens. So first, really feel that usual sense of listening and trying to understand and trying to do, and feel the location of the hearer, the doer, in its normal location of thought, going to emotion, going to subject object. Feel that sense of a small self. And the premise is that awareness is inherent within that, and it's made of awareness. So awareness can let go or unhook and open. And we'll just see what happens and see what you feel. So feel like you're identified or attached, and then simply, what does it feel like if awareness unhooks and opens? Just stepping out of the cloud. Be aware of space in the room from space. So just this can be enough. Awareness mingles with space till you're aware from an open mind, non-thought-based alertness. Does that feel like to be alert without orienting to thought? Just feel that relief, freedom. And if part of you is calling you back or some pattern, just notice that and reassure that part. It's okay. You're just stepping out, going to the kitchen to get some food. You'll be right back. So thank that manager part, unhook, open. Be aware of space. Be aware from space. Out of the cloud, including the cloud. And then feel as if the center, instead of going back to this location of thought-based knowing or observing from a detached mindful witness, let awareness drop, and the center, feel your body from within. So feel your jaw from within your jaw. So just notice you don't have to go up to thought to check, and you're not looking down from here or stretching attention down. That awareness unhooks and feels and knows your throat directly from within your throat. So the subject and object feeling of effervescent aliveness, awareness, and space from your throat. If you bounce back, just unhook and get a feel for knowing your body directly from within. And then feel as if this awareness is moving itself as awareness drops below your neck into your upper torso. Feeling the aliveness, the space, and the awareness of your body directly from within your body. No longer orienting to thought, to know, to analyze, to judge. And feel as if you drop behind and below your emotional heart into a kind of heart space, kind of a door of the heart that touches the emotional heart, touches the physical heart, touches the heart chakra, touches the belly knowing. But feel as if you find the space, safe place, as if you're aware of your heart space from your heart space. Drop down and go into the subtlest dimension of heart knowing that doesn't orient to thought to know. Feel the relief and the love. Going deep like a deep river, or like the subtlest space within the atoms. To this not knowing that knows. And feel as if, as you go into this deep heart space, it opens to a universal heart, to a heart as big as the universe that feels connected and protected, deep within and open, so that you're aware from an open mind and now from an open heart. Drop down, open, and including. Just being aware from this loving awareness back to thoughts, feelings, sensations, to your body as part of you, to this arising field of awareness that's dancing. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Just feeling this. Presence, being. Feel as if your center, as if you're almost looking out of the eyes of your heart, as if there's an interconnected field to whatever is around you. And notice that you don't have to judge from the heart, but you can rest at home in your heart mind and have the files from the office of your head come down by Wi-Fi. And you're open to this nature of mind, this universal, safe ground of being consciousness, sense of well-being, okayness, now, here. Just for these few moments, know where to go. Nothing to do, but really feel that you're resting as that which can bear what seemed to be unbearable. What is that which has always been here? So normally I would have people share from here. So you can share later on if you like when we open it up. But we'll do a couple more But just notice how, rather than being in the cloud, cleaning up the cloud, trying to be compassionate or just witnessing, that literally feeling your body from within, decentering, but then not stopping at not knowing or no self, but literally going to the new operating system of heart mind. That's not just your emotional heart or your physical heart, but is this heart space that's open to this interconnectedness, this emptiness that's full. And just see for yourself. Just give this what takes minutes to resource with the source, to access this contemplative dimension from which you can see and which you can be, and then you can do from being. So from here you can talk and walk and then feel yourself pop back up and then learn to return and then train to remain. Yeah? And then no big surprise if you go back to the first system, no judging the judge, just no big surprise, just re-recognize. And these small glimpses many times a day just give you that access to this already natural loving kindness, this compassion and unconditional love that is not just the absence of suffering, but the accessing of flourishing of positive natural qualities of well-being and love, freedom, and connection, natural connection to everything and everybody. So we got that going for us. So that's good, right? So we can play with a couple more ways of accessing this. The simple principle, interestingly, in some ways has been considered advanced, but there's also a lot of teachings that have said that this is actually the most accessible way for Westerners, is this direct way. And I find it that not only can most people get it fairly quickly and then make it their own, but have had tremendous reports now during this pandemic of people starting to use it regularly. And this is the beauty of challenging times, right? That the Chinese character for crisis is also opportunity. So something, when we're pushed to the edge here, when we're maxed out in our resources, when we're triggered from our trauma, and we can't bear and we can't fix it with our smartest parts and our just calming of meditation, it is an opportunity to discover that which is here that can bear the unbearable, what seemed to be unbearable, to access that which is open. And having done work in outpatient psychiatry, I discovered the same principle works, and that there's some kind of myth that people who have had complex trauma can't meditate or shouldn't meditate, but if this kind of meditation actually isn't just deconstructing, it's actually accessing this capacity, which is what I found has healed. So an example of working with somebody who was, even many people, but somebody who was suicidal, who felt like, when asked, is there a part of you that wants to hurt yourself? They said yes. And is there a part of you that wants to get better and live? And they had to take a little time, and they said yes. And then the question, well, who's aware of those two parts? And they said, well, I am. Well, where are you? Well, I'm everywhere, and here I'm. And how do you feel toward those two parts? I feel a lot of compassion for both of them. So that same principle that we use in psychology to help people who are blended with a part, to give it some space, open to this no self, and then find the compassion back, is the same simple movement of navigating your own consciousness, unhooking, dropping, opening, including. And so let's do another doorway. So, some of you may have experienced these two doorways of that inquiry, what's here now when there's no problem to solve. It may have worked, and then a glimpse, the other one of dropping from head to heart. But not all doorways work for everyone, but just getting the principles. And I have about 90 different doorways and little movements. Some work for some people, others work for others. So just keep playing with the premise that the awakeness that we're seeking is already here and can be tuned out of this contracted protector system into this expansive, pervasive, and embracing presence that you are. And you've experienced it at times, your best times in your life, and most of us go and do the things we love to do to access this, like walking in nature or dancing or connecting with animals, and then we drop out of our head, we feel connected to nature as we walk, and then so what if you could do that anywhere, anytime? That's the premise, that it isn't the place or the thing or the activity or the person that you're with that engenders it or makes it happen. It's just that is your door. So we're finding these doors that are the same navigating of consciousness through effortless mindfulness. So this one we're going to do is the door of the eyes. Yeah. So often, we meditate with eyes closed or half closed in order to be in a quiet place and focus on simplicity and calming and then observing. But ultimately, living an awakened life, we've got to have our eyes open most of the time. So let's just do a little, this is called returning the eyes to their natural state. So in hearing, if we hear a sound like a bell, we can experience just hearing. Into that awareness. From thinking to another sense of hearing. And notice how hearing at first is receiving. So sound comes from outside through the air to your eardrums, and you experience it as receiving. And then it goes into a field of vibration. But it starts by receiving, yeah? Now seeing, grab this flower, and seeing, if you look at this, and look at this, look at this, does it feel like it's almost like seeing is like your hand, like you're going out to see? Whereas hearing, you receive it, and seeing, it's almost like you go out. And this is because seeing is so connected to the grasping mind, because light reflects off of objects and comes to your eyes. So seeing is receiving, hearing is receiving on a biological level. So that's the first pointer. What's it like if seeing is receiving? So let your eyes relax from the grasping mind that's trying to be safe. Let your eyes know that light is traveling at the speed of light. And then let your eyes rest soft and have equal rights to all your other senses. So all senses are equal. And then feel almost like there's a, instead of pinpointing, feel this round view this way. Then you can even look above your screen rather than looking at the screen or me, look at the space right above your screen. Don't look even at the wall, but just a little space, just a little bit up. So your eyes are up and you can let a smile come to your face. Breathe in cool air. And then simply start to let awareness open to the sides. So awareness is opening itself. So your eyes are not moving, even though your peripheral vision opens. So just notice the same way your awareness dropped, your awareness is opening. And just feel your view open. As your view opens, feel a little more open-minded and spacious. And when the awareness gets to the side, they can let go of seeing while seeing remains open and become aware of the space in which sound is coming, going on the sides. And then somehow let awareness continue around 360 degrees to this open field of awareness. So as if you've opened your view, you've opened your mind, opened your heart. And then just be curious. Am I aware of the spacious awareness? Or what's it like when I discover an awareness that's already aware by itself without my help? Just resting as a kind of open awareness, effortlessly mindful. And then curious whether you're aware of that effortless awareness or what's it like as that effortless awareness if you're both equally outside and within. So you're aware from the spacious and pervasive field of awareness that drops down and connects and includes both outside and within equally. So the awareness can be aware of what's going on inside and what's going on outside from this open-hearted awareness. And just notice, how do you feel toward your body, toward any parts or emotions, while remaining open? What is that capacity that's available now for compassion, space, holding, loving kindness, equanimity? And feel the connection now from your eyes as if you're aware of something, and then as if you follow your finger back to be aware equally behind you, and then feel the connection to this field that holds you, sense of well-being that you've shifted into, opened up, and included this subtler, wider, deeper, higher and yet more embodied, feeling your body from within, from mindful from a different level of mind, not going to thought, to know, not going to sleep, to rest, not leaving here and now to go to daydream. Just feel that nourishment, well-being, courage, contemplative view. So again, not looking out, but let your awareness rest back to the awareness that has your back. The awareness behind your heart, rest back into that awareness. Till you discover that awareness that's already always been awake. And without your help, feel that awareness like an ocean of awareness arise as the fullness of your body from toes to head, and then through the eyes of your heart, connect to everyone and everything. It's like a resting back to that which includes and welcomes. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Emptiness, appearance. Emptiness, bliss. Dancing. Just feel the new awareness-based knowing. Doesn't have to go to thought and can give more capacity, more space to whatever emotional or parts of you have been agitated, or just being here now with those from a nature of mind. Just for one moment is like not just putting your computer to sleep with a meditation, but literally rebooting and restarting with a new operating system that's always already been installed. This open-hearted awareness. Yeah, and so the mime version of this, for those who are perceptive and just want to feel yourself, again, you're kind of looking at me, but you're really feeling awareness. What is he doing? He looks kind of silly. Do I look that silly? If I did that, I might. Okay, and So just this shifting below the cloud, out of the cloud, just to unplug from the conditioned mind, from the attempt to be happy and safe and okay and in control. The taboo says, don't go out of your mind, don't become nobody, don't lose control. So it just is 3 seconds to 3 minutes to let those parts know, all right, you've tried your best. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your efforts. However, let me try one more thing. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Drop, open, come back and notice that you're resourced with the source, and those parts that have been trying to do a job they were not designed to do will be relieved and say, oh, thank you so much. So it's this upgrade of intentionally, the Tibetans say, the child awareness returns to mother awareness and then embraces. So this local awareness can move and include and become the new view and the new you. So let's open it up for some questions, comments, and reports, which I think Amy will, or Valerie will moderate and choose some questions to read.
Hi, Locke. Yes, this is Valerie.
Hey, Valerie.
So from Hazmaz, hi, Locke. I've been doing your glimpse practices for the last 2 years now, but I still can't recognize awake awareness
Yeah.
and always feel located in the head.
Yes.
I've grown very worried if something is wrong since it's been so long, and if I'll ever be able to recognize this. What can I do?
Yeah. So yeah, it usually takes just a little adjustment. At that point, it takes just kind of a little dialogue with somebody who can see where you're stuck and which door might be easier for you. One of the doors is called the memory door, which is if you've ever had an experience of awake awareness, you can start with remembering it and feeling it now, and then let go of the memory and see whether it's here. That's one door that often works for people who are often stuck in their head. It is a radical move because we're so located in our heads. We think, I think, therefore I am. We think that's the location. And for some people, it just takes a little new doorway. So I would say, I hope you'll come to some event, and if I usually would take 10, 15 minutes to find a doorway to help you, but keep trying different ones. The key is, to get a feeling, even if it's outdoors doing a sport or some other playful thing, recognize it through any door that, oh, I'm not aware from only my head. I'm also feeling connected to nature. I'm feeling in a flow, because in some ways it's what's called flow consciousness or being in the zone. So many people know it is the first feeling of doing something in a flow. Yeah. So I wish you the best. I hope to see you sometime, and I'll give you, if you come to an event, I'll give you 15 minutes on a break and help you through.
Great. Thank you. We have 3 other questions which are similar. One is noting that my back becomes very stiff and painful. Yeah. Another notes I fall asleep, I doze off, or what if I have constant pain in my jaw? So, all 3 are kind of asking for help moving past those physical discomforts.
Yeah. So this is, these are the in any meditation system, the classical sleep, pain, thought, daydream. Those are the 4 places we go in normal consciousness. So this method is saying, don't focus on the problem, don't focus on the content, don't try to fix the problem. See if you can find the subtler dimension first and then come back. So in my book, I have a pain protocol that actually takes awareness and looks, whether it's in your jaw or in your hand, and has awareness go directly into your hand. And instead of sending this signal to your head, like I'm in pain, and it opens up the pain signal just as thoughts go into the background. When you're in awake awareness, pain signal will also go into the background. So it's learning this first unique dimension of awareness-based knowing that's just simply alert and not going to thought. Can you be alert, not zoned out, not dumbed down, but not orienting to thought, just making that an experiential category? That babies are alert before language, and wise gals and wise guys are alert after school.
Great. Marilyn is asking, when I move down to the heart space, I feel a lot of openness and spaciousness. I feel the spaciousness, there's body awareness, but I can't say that it's described by loving awareness or compassion. Those feelings still seem to need to be cultivated. Any thoughts about this?
So again, it's it takes a little bit to go subtler and subtler. So as you go into the heart space or the physical body, where just noticing, the first thing is that you're just to be aware directly from within your body is a radical thing. I mean, I've had yoga teachers and world-renowned ballerinas, when they drop their awareness, saying, I'm aware of my body from within for the first time in my life. Because we're so trained to be aware from a mindful witness, even doing a body scan. So just that direct perception from the field of awareness is being in awake awareness. And then usually neutrality is the first. It's stepping out of the attempt to find love or to find peace. There can be a relief or a release, but then the neutrality starts bubbling up with some okayness or well-being, or just relief goes to feeling a little bliss or a little, so it kind of shows itself kind of like a deer coming out of into a clearing. It'll show up if you just keep returning.
Beautiful. A deer coming into a clearing.
Yeah.
So Locke, we're almost at the hour. So
Okay.
I just want to turn to you if you have any closing comment, and then we'll close with Amy.
Yes. So I'm so glad to be able to offer these resources. I've been offering them to these first responders who have been very grateful and have found that in this agitated state of not knowing and worry and being so isolated, that there's an opportunity for whatever way you can to find the resource of this already awake nature, which is really the sense of what this Dharma teaching is about. Buddha talked about old age, sickness, and death as the main spurs on to finding that which can be with everyday suffering. So I just encourage you to find your own doors, your own way, to connect to each other, to reach out to those who are lonely, to share, to do random acts of kindness and generosity, to step out of yourself and to receive, to let yourself also have others who are there for you, and you can speak about your feelings and then practice your ways to return home to this open-hearted awareness that you've always been. And I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thanks so much.